To Cognitions, speaking the unspeakable with JP
and Stacy D.
I'm JP Craddock. I'm here with the one and only, the lovely Miss Stacy D. Love, and we are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for knowledge, understanding,
and wisdom.
You can also catch us on FM 100.5, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, and TuneIn. All right, coming up on
and be sure to like us, share,
and follow. Yes. All right, coming up on the show today. Today we are, in place of the question of the day, we're going to be discussing my book.
It's like this, and that's the way it is. Hey, them used to be the jams.
I think that's from the 70s. That's the 70s, early hip hop.
That was the 80s.
I don't think so, D.
Can we have our researcher to look it up, please?
What researcher? Hell. The kids are gone. When do we, Mr. Walker, when do we go get some more kids
up in here?
Right, we can't even get Miss B up in here.
So
on time.
when you're not in the studio, you will get talked about. But we don't care. We will talk about you in your face. Because what's the name of our radio show?
What do we do?
Speak the unspeakable.
But we do need some kids up in here. Okay, some kid interns. Looking this up. The other day, the Grammys did a 50-year tribute to 50 years of hip hop.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't get to see all of it. So I'm thinking that's from the 70s, but I could be mistaken.
I think it's really from the 80s, though.
Oh, okay. It might be, D. You trying to knock off a few years, and we're going to let you. All right. So coming up on the show, we're going to be discussing my book, It's Like This. Before we get to that, we have our check-in.
But let's get the rest of it. Lessons on coping, surviving, and thriving.
Yes. It's like this. It's a book of analogies, metaphors, and similes. And so I'm going to explain what motivated me to write it in that form and how I use that in therapy and that whole thing. So, D.
What?
Let's get to the check-in. And one thing that you definitely need to update us on is, because we got our challenge going on.
Okay, so we started the challenge on, what was that, November the 27th? Is that a good date? November the 27th?
I think it was oh my goodness. Guess what?
What?
Our VIV. Our VIV, because we'll have our student interns, did the research, and you are right. It was from Run DMC. 1984.
That was a good old year.
That's all up in the middle of the 80s. I was way
sure
off.
was. I had my baby in 1984. My first one.
Your very first baby in 1984.
You were a freshman and I was a sophomore in high school. And we was kicking in the glass hallway. And that's the way it is.
The D kicking in with a baby in it.
Sure did. Until they kicked me out of school. You remember when I had that fight with Wendell White? That's the reason why I got kicked out of school.
Which fight, D?
That fight. I was pregnant and they kicked me out.
How many fights did you have when we were in school? D, how many fights did how many fights did you have,
Not
D?
that many.
But you was a part of a lot of drama.
I was a part of a lot of drama. Because I was a real wholesome cousin / friend. And you're not going to mess with my people.
And when the fighting wasn't happening, the drama was happening. You fought pregnant? I don't remember that.
Yeah, with Wendell White, he gave me a black eye.
Well, he probably didn't know you was knocked up.
Probably did.
Did you let people know? Because you were supposed to be at Mother High.
Exactly. I was like 7 months.
Why were you not at Mother High?
I didn't want to go to Mother High.
You hid the pregnancy?
Mm-hmm.
And was fighting? Doing too damn much.
Doing too much. Then
I thought you eventually went to Mother High.
I did. They kicked me out. I didn't have a choice but to go to Mother High.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Mother High my baby was born in April, so I think I went like the end of January, beginning of February. And then they wouldn't let me come back until next semester. I couldn't come back to next year.
Okay, now for our listeners, the D is a school social worker at the school that we graduated from.
Yes, I
Now,
had to go there. That was one of the prerequisites of
What
becoming.
What are y'all doing with the pregnant teens now?
Oh, hell,
because Mother High doesn't exist.
They all go to school there.
They just go to school. They
just go to
fight
school,
everything.
I mean,
Is it
people wear
safe?
their pajamas and everything anyway.
What?
Yeah.
And bonnets, probably.
They do. And their
See.
house shoes. We don't know if they're going to bed, going to the club, or going to go stay on the corner and make some money.
That's how they show it up.
That's how they showing up.
We used to show up looking good. We showed up looking good at school.
It was a fashion show.
The kids don't care anymore.
They literally don't care. That's the reason why I make sure that I dress very business professional so they can at least.
They need to see a
They
black.
need to see that. And that's why I was
educated
telling a lot of my other black counterparts. I'm like, us wearing T-shirts and tennis shoes and jeans Monday through Thursday is totally unacceptable.
Professionals?
Yeah, the teachers there. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we need to like show them something.
Right.
And so I guess my little pep talk worked.
Good. Because the teachers didn't dress overly casual back in the day. I don't remember them dressing
Hell
like
no,
that.
they didn't. But now, if you wear a school shirt, you can wear jeans and tennis shoes. And that's fine on Friday. I don't have a problem with dress down Fridays.
But they're doing it every day.
They doing it every day.
Lazy.
Probably the same old shirt. They so trifling.
Lazy. Okay, we're not going to dog the teachers too much because they are dealing with some rough heathens. But
They're terrible too.
the heathens.
The teachers. If they're not invested, and this is my private service announcement. If you're not invested in a child, or you don't want to help that district's children because you think you're too good, get the hell on and let somebody else come in and help them because they're doing a disservice. Literally.
True.
When I go up into the classroom to get students and they in there watching movies and all that, what are you teaching them? I mean, we literally have 12th graders who do not even know how to sign their name.
Yeah, the district has fallen way back since we were in it.
And it's really bad because we
I
run
have
it.
kids in it. See, your kids ain't in the
Hell
district.
no.
But I had kids in the
I
district.
sent my grandkids the ward.
Yeah,
I
it's-
paid for it.
It's bad. I will never. My baby, she ain't gonna be messing.
Hell no, she gonna be in a private
messing
school.
with
She
them
gonna be-
folks.
she gonna
Where
be
she
a
at
ward
now?
too?
Where she at now? In Montessori, she gonna go from Montessori to a private school.
Yeah.
I'm not playing them games with it.
It's
Like,
terrible. They don't even care.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. So moving on, D.
JP and his
What's your check-in?
ADHD. Oh, my check-in is that from the 27th, that's when we start our challenge.
Oh yes.
So from the 27th, we said that we was gonna lose at least 5, but
to
we
10.
were pushing for 10.
Get a minimum of 5 to 10.
Yes.
You, me, and Mr. Walker.
Yeah,
Right.
because the bodybuilder's not in it.
No, he refused.
He refused.
He's clearly too buff.
Yeah,
to
and,
be.
and you guys, when he come in, it's gonna be a silent thing. We're gonna have him stand up right here.
Oh Lord! Because he refused to participate in the
refused
weight
to
loss
participate
challenge.
in weight loss
It was
challenge.
ridiculous. If you have listen, go to our Facebook page. If you have not seen that episode, see how ridiculous the professor was avoiding participating. But I came in accepting responsibility for all the sweets I ate for Thanksgiving and all the weight that I gained. I came in at 201. Now, D,
I'm
where you
not
at?
gonna say my weight.
No, don't say your weight. Women don't do that.
We don't do that.
Yeah, men.
Because I'm
we
still
do.
thicky thick.
thicky thick.
Thicky thick. But I am down as of this morning. I'm down 6.25
Oh, good D.
because I gained 2 pounds, and so I have lost that. And
Oh my Lord.
yeah, so I
This is-
done lost actually 8 pounds.
D, you doing a good job.
8.25 pounds is what I have actually lost because I gained 2 more pounds. Remember?
You're
Yeah.
doing great. See,
Yeah, I am.
this inspires. See, we inspire each other. Because Mr. Walker didn't have no shame in sending us something to let us know
Did he
that
not?
he's handling business.
And I'm sorry, but the D do not have time to go to the gym. But when I get up, I think I'm gonna do Pilates, stretch.
I'm gonna do whatever it
Stretch,
takes to get.
stretch,
I got to knock off the weight. Okay, you're doing great, D. I had a rough weekend
What did
because
you go do?
I made my wife some chocolate chip cookies. And remember what I said, you can't make anything without eating it. Like,
Are you gonna make some oatmeal raisins? I love
can.
oatmeal raisins.
D, we trying to do the weight loss
Oh.
challenge. I'm trying to not be doing this. Okay, so I was eating chocolate chip cookies. We went to another princess ball, and after the ball, we
What
went
the
out
hell
to
are
breakfast.
all the princess balls be?
It's let me tell you, the princess is on tour.
Well, I'm glad that they was not doing that 10 years ago for Drea, because
They're
Drea would have had me.
expensive.
Because, you know, that's used to be her name, Princess Drea.
Oh, the princess balls are expensive. But my baby, she loves it. She gets to see all her princesses. And
She
let
just
me tell
seen
you,
all the princesses.
she gets to see them again. And she loved it. And afterwards,
Okay,
we
you
went
guys,
out
the
to eat.
professor's coming.
The problem is we went out to eat, and I ate bad.
Where'd you go out to eat at?
We went to Bob Evans, and I had this
Why are
biscuit.
you at the old people's?
That's what I told Nadine. I said, okay, first thing, because we do have some viewers who are senior citizens, and
I know, but-
we're not saying anything about our elderly viewers, because we love our elderly viewers, okay? But yeah, that's the old folks restaurant.
Yeah, just like Perkins. Perkins and Bob Evans.
I love Perkins, though. They got every kind of pie you want up in there. I be up in there fisting pies. I fist the pies. at
But they
Perkins.
don't taste good.
The French silk.
But they have some good muffins.
Have you had the French silk pie
No,
up
I'm
in
not a
Perkins?
big chocolate eater like that.
See, I'm not a huge chocolate person, but a good French silk. The difference.
Professor, can you come over here? Can you come over here for a minute, please?
Oh no! Oh no!
Come on.
The D.
What you talking about, bro?
No, I just need you to come in here and answer the question.
We
for us.
want the audience to see the professor, because we always talk about the professor,
Yeah, and everybody
and nobody
wants
gets to put a face.
Yeah,
Nobody.
we don't
nobody-
have a face
nobody
or a
gets to put
body to the name. This is okay. Did everybody see the professor?
Wait,
Whoa, are
hold
we
it.
getting him?
Mr. Walker.
Hold on. We gotta get all of
Mr.
it.
Walker, get the professor. Get the professor. There we go. There we go. Yeah. What? We always talk about you, Professor. Hell, be on time and you won't get talked about. Whoever
Gotta work.
ain't on time get talked about up in here.
I just help you guys out.
Okay, well,
When
we
y'all get
understand
stuck on
that
the
you got to work.
When y'all get stuck on the subject,
Well, and we like it when you a little late, because then we say everything we got to say before you get here. It's mainly the D. The D don't be playing with you.
maybe I need to miss some of that.
Yeah, you watch it later. All right.
So what y'all talking about?
We right
Talking
now
about you?
we're talking about our weight loss challenge right now.
That's what I was going to
And I went from 201 down to 193.6, which is
Oh wow, you almost hit the 10. Which that was you? The bananas and
so I'm
Tootsie
down
Rolls?
almost 8 point. I didn't do, but I almost had to after Bob Evans. Me and them old folks was up in there tearing up biscuits and gravy. Professor, do you eat at
Bob Evans or Perkins.
Where's it at?
What?
I might have to stop by there. Where's the closest one?
Probably in Lee Summit, because you're a
I went to the
Missourian.
one of the Legends. There's not a lot of Bob Evans.
You live in Kansas?
They have, yes, I'm from Kansas. They have good food there. They do, and I was up in there tearing it up. So I probably would have lost more had I not been eating the chocolate chip
And
cookies.
then you ate late.
And going to Bob Evans. Of course, I was eating all the bad food late because, So that's where I'm at. All right. D, do you have any more check-in?
No.
You, Professor, would you like to give a check-in for today? That since we got you on camera, we got you
you
on
have
the
a
mic.
2-minute limit.
And what I was going
Like
to
at
ask
a
you,
funeral.
you actually keep track of closely when you work it
Oh,
out?
hold on
Oh,
a minute.
yes.
Hold on a minute.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
show y'all mine.
Oh, I don't play.
Look, it's real, baby. It's real up in here.
What is that, D? I don't have my cataracts fixed yet. Oh, yes, good.
It's real, baby. It goes all the way to it started from 2013.
I track in my Fitness Pal.
See?
Yeah, I track in my Fitness Pal, and then I enter it
Yeah,
on my
now,
phone.
I do my other
oh
stuff
yes,
on
Yeah,
my
actually
steps
did
and
it.
stuff.
yeah, Professor.
It's
you don't,
real out
but
here.
you don't have to track, do you, Professor?
Hell no.
But when I
He's
Professor
a
don't
Buffy
need to
buff.
do all that.
but look, I never.
Ah, he's a gym rat.
But the reason why I don't keep track is because
Tell us why.
it takes you about, I say, well, most of my workouts when I did 90 days, about 30 pounds. But I don't
In
keep
90
track.
days?
Yeah,
I
it
weigh in
depends.
every day.
Yeah.
I know the effect.
That's
of
Mr.
what
Walker in the background,
Yeah,
everyone.
because
Yeah,
Mr.
but I'm
Walker
just
been
saying,
handling business.
But when you keep track of it, that just so you won't get disappointed. Just so you
Who's
won't
gonna
get
get
disappointed.
disappointed?
And stop.
Professor, I handles business.
I just go through and then I weigh myself for maybe 2 months or something like that after I.
Really? See that? Yeah. For this
get
weight loss
satisfaction.
challenge that you refuse to participate in, Professor, we need to update our listeners every week on how we're doing, and it motivates us. See, because I done dropped about 8 pounds. I weigh in every day because I need to know the
I
effects.
weigh every day, too.
The effects of what I ate
Yeah.
immediately, because I'm old and my body immediately responds to what I have eaten and if I have exercised. Yeah.
I agree with that
But
because I
you-
did the thing over the weekend, which I, like you, went over. I was trying to get to 185. I was 185.6 on Friday. Monday, I was 188.
Yes.
Wrong way.
But if you do not track every day, it slips
It's
away
up on
from
you.
you really fast.
You started eating stuff.
Whereas, because I got this down to a science professor, not as good a science as you got it down to, because the professor, he didn't need to do this with us.
I didn't say that. I said
That's
I
what you
wasn't going to
said.
start. I wasn't going to start right away doing
Right away,
doing-
Professor. Our deadline is December 31st.
well, that's y'all's deadline.
Oh,
I didn't
Professor,
say.
you're not
I did
in our
not say
challenge.
that. That's right. I told you I
Okay.
wasn't.
Well, Professor, let me talk about the challenge because you ain't in it. So here's what I can do. If I eat healthy all day, and then I'll eat dinner, and then if I go to the gym late at night, because I usually will go to the gym sometime between 11 and sometimes as late as 1 in the morning, work out, come home, and not eat unless I eat a light
Protein
fruit,
shake.
like a light fruit, like some watermelon or something, maybe an apple, and then go to bed. When I get up in the morning, I can't immediately weigh in. I have to move around. I got to be up and down the stairs. My body needs time to adjust, and then I get on the scale, and that's the true weight. If I weigh in when I first get up and then weigh in again an hour later, it will be a difference of almost a whole pound. But that just goes to show when you weigh in regularly, you get to know your body. You get to know how you interact with certain foods and all of that, because the problem for me, and this is the difference between when we were at the center. When we were at the center and my office was
We were in
on
our
the-
30s.
we were in our 30s and I never took the elevator. I would carry
I
my
did
whole
too.
stack of charts up the
We
stairs,
used to run it.
up and down the stairs. Well, what I was thinking about this morning is that I am literally sedentary for 6 to 8 hours back to back. Like, I don't end my sessions in 50 minutes. They're on the hour. I am literally sitting all day, and that's the reason why I'm having so much trouble losing weight, and the reason why I'm gaining weight so much is because I'm not moving. This is the thing about
Don't you
working
go
from
to the gym
home.
every day, though?
Yeah, I have to. That's the reason why when I go to the gym, I have to burn like 7, 8, 900 calories. I'm in there like 2 hours, even longer, because I've been sitting all day. And so on the days that I'm working from home doing video conferencing, telehealth video conferencing, I just was thinking about it. When we were in our 30s, we were active. Because you
And
was
I
doing
could try-
case management, so you all over the city and doing this and taking the stairs. It's harder to manage weight under like the way that we currently work. You're sedentary. Are you sedentary all day? Are you sedentary,
I'm
Professor?
not.
You moving around? You're moving around to
I work
school
with
now.
kids, yeah.
I'm running up them stairs.
Prior to
Walking that building. I does
prior to
a
working at the
lot-
school.
A lot of steps.
prior to working at the school, well, you was
It was a
moving
funky
around.
mess.
Yeah. See, I need to be working up in a school and taking stairs.
Taking the stairs.
They don't even have
Well,
an elevator in
Yes,
that.
they do.
They do?
Mhm.
They put one in. Because they didn't have air conditioning when we was there. We used to.
But they have air
It was a
conditioning
sweat
and
box when we
stairs.
were in high school.
And they have in the exactly the cafeteria has a ramp that we had to go in and then go down them 5 stairs. Nope, it's a lift.
Oh, really?
It's a lift.
Oh,
in
they
the,
care about the kids with
it's a lift
disabilities
in
now.
the pool too.
Isn't that something? They care about the disabled babies now. They didn't give a damn about the disabled babies when we were there.
No,
All
it
right,
wasn't
so that's
the
a
same.
check-in. Professor, do you have a check-in?
I'm cool.
Okay.
Y'all gotta stay on track.
Let's get to mental health and illness in the news.
Let's do
Oh,
it.
hold up.
What?
I didn't do my check-in. That was your check-in.
Your chicken was a doggone princesses.
Okay.
But go and do another one.
I didn't mean for that to be my check-in. Okay, so here's a quick check-in. For my next book, not the book that we're discussing today, my next book, Therapist Notes, because a part of celebrating my 25th year as a therapist, I'm kicking out 3 books back to back. And the next one is Therapist Notes Revisited, where I took a book, my first book, and I redid the book, okay?
Oh,
And
okay.
here is what I have decided to do. I am donating 100% of the profits from the sale of the book when I release it later this month to
It's going to be this month?
to a charity. Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm kicking
wow.
these books out like back to back. And 100% of the profits. And so I've been taking a look at different organizations.
What did your mom die from?
Diabetes
diabetes?
complications.
Let's do diabetes.
Well, I've decided to start locally. And check this out. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I didn't write the book to make money from the book. I wrote the
Exactly.
book because I want to put mental health and wellness out in the community. And so choosing an organization to donate 100% of the profits to, what I'm explaining is, whatever you sell of the book, that's what you get. If the book isn't moving, then I'm going to have to spend money on marketing, and that's going to cut into your profits, because there's proceeds and then there's profits. So if I spend anything on,
We have the
marketing-
left side and the right side.
right, and so I'm trying to find organizations that have a large enough following for them to be able to sell enough copies of the book for my goal to be accomplished, of the book being out there, their goal to be accomplished, of them generating this revenue. This is what I found. Listen to this. This is an organization that I've kind of bumped up the list because this is really interesting. All right. There is an organization called BWMFKC, which stands for Black Women Making Friends in KC.
Oh,
Yes. Now, this is
did
what
you send that to me?
no, but I should because I want you to check them out. I want you to give me the inside scoop. So I'm gonna need you to go like undercover.
Okay.
But they started off as a social club, and then they evolved into a book club of Black women wanting to socialize and bond and connect.
And they're right here in the city.
They're right here in the city, and then they decided to start having a positive impact upon the community, and they started doing community service. And it kind of reminded me of my fraternity, which started off as a social organization and just evolved into the community service organization that it became. This is fascinating. I'm really impressed with these ladies, right? And so that's what they're doing, and they're starting to do community service, but they're having to come out of pocket because donations are low, of course. And so they're having to pay out of pocket for some of their community service projects. And so I am talking to them. This is an organization that they're not an official nonprofit. And I'm taking suggestions if anybody can suggest any other organizations, because I haven't made a full decision. And it doesn't have to be a nonprofit. It just needs to be doing community service.
So what type of community services are they doing?
They did like they did something for kids, like kids and Santa Claus and presents and things like that. Like I need to look into it further. I need you to join this organization, D. I need you to join this organization and let me know what their plans are. But I'm thinking that they might be my 2020, because what I'm wanting to do is donate the profits from January to December 31st, and then the next year to choose another organization and donate all the profits from that book to them. And each organization, I'm going to allow them to remove excerpts from the book that they feel like don't fit, because some of it is adult content in therapist notes. And so there may be some things, and that way the book is kind of tailored to the organization. So for the 2 to 3 years that I'm doing this, it's like tailored to that particular organization. This is a wonderful idea. The black women, D. You got to join the black. Well, you in a sorority. You ain't got time for more black women. But it's a thought. It's an idea. All right. So that's my check-in.
And church. Oh,
I thought about choosing a
community
church.
out.
I thought about choosing a church, but a church would require a total re-editing of the book. Like, it's a bit much for a church. Okay, let's get to mental health and illness in the news. This is juicy. A Kansas City man was charged with exposing himself at 2 Metro stores, according to KCTV 5 News. James Jones II, let me be sure to say the second, because whoever the first is like, please don't get that right. That wasn't me, that my boy. That was my boy exposing himself. Freak.
Well, they did Ancestry.com, and it might not be him.
It might not be his son.
Might not be his son.
Because there are people with kids
Don't
named
do
after
it.
them. Let me
Don't
tell
do
you,
it.
there are people with kids named after them, and they later find out, like, what? That ain't my boy. Yes, it happens. So James Jones II is charged with aggravated first-degree sexual abuse. Here's the thing. This is a paraphilia, which is not, the paraphilia is exhibitionism, and the exact diagnosis is exhibitionistic disorder. Let me give you the code, F65.2. This is a paraphilia, not to be confused with pedophilia. Pedophilia,
Two totally different ones.
Two totally different things. Pedophilia is one of the paraphilias, but this guy is an exhibitionist,
like
and it is it's a sex crime. Yes. The D, Lord, the D. An exhibitionist is a person who is exposing their genitalia to someone. And here's what I was thinking, because paraphilias, I used to think of paraphilias as deviant sexual acts. I changed my description of them, and here's the reason why. Because there is a paraphilia called transvestic disorder.
Ooh, I never
Which
heard of
is,
that one.
well, that's trans.
A trans. Okay.
Intense sexual arousal from cross-dressing. And so we have to be careful calling cross-dressers deviant, right? We have to be careful about
That's
that.
true.
And so the way I define paraphilia now is abnormal sexual desires, typically, actually, I look at it as a spectrum. You have some abnormal sexual desires that are outside of the norm. I'm not going to say abnormal, outside of the norm to the extreme, which is a pedophile, which is a child molester.
Exactly.
And there's the whole range. Now, the official definitions are abnormal sexual desires, typically extreme or dangerous activities. Now, that's the dictionary, but the DSM-5 says deviant. And that's where it gets controversial is
You about ready to leave? Let's go ahead on. You
the
good.
professor's like, they talking about all this sexual crime mess. Yeah, professor, you might want to go on back there and get on the wheels of steel. Don't turn them, though. And so the DSM-5, I believe, still uses the term deviant, which can be controversial if you're saying that cross-dressers are deviant. But what I was thinking about is we have not covered the paraphilias.
We haven't.
And we need to, because that is going to be interesting. Okay?
Yeah, I might have a little bit of that up in me. Back in the day, all in the parks, the elevators.
Okay,
You know, when you think about it, like, wow.
Oh, Lord, D said up in the parks and on the elevators.
Elevators. I mean,
But then you was exposing your genitals to somebody who wanted to see them. That's not exhibitionism. Exhibitionist, she's back at it. Their sexual arousal is from that shocked response. That's the reason why it's considered.
Response.
That's the reason why it's considered a sex crime, because they are exposing their genitals to people who don't want to see them. And according to the news, this gentleman was exposing himself to middle-aged women.
Okay, because it'd be over with if he was at the school.
No, he's exposing himself to middle-aged women, and so he's age appropriate. But they're like, "Why am I looking at your damn penis right now?"
Especially
and
if
somebody
it's not
called
right.
a popo. The penis wasn't right.
I don't know. Was he black or white? was he black or white? Come on. What was number 2? Was he black or white?
What difference does it make?
Because it makes a big
Why
difference.
does it make a big difference?
Makes a big
The
difference.
race of a fool. D, I'm not even going to answer. I'm not.
Damn near. Hey, we need to
D,
see.
stop. Mr. Walker. She's about to get us censored. Here we are in trouble again.
If the little kid didn't get a censored from cussing, hell.
We did have a kid up here cussing. All right. And so here are the paraphilias, because we're going to cover all of them.
We need to. I think that'd be really good.
Voyeuristic disorder, exhibitionistic disorder, frotteuristic disorder, sexual masochism disorder for those who want to be beat, sexual sadism, you got
Whoa.
the S and the M. What, D? You into that one?
No. No, I'm good. And you know, that's Satanism. You know, that gets me. Mm-mm.
And then we have the pedophiles. We have fetishistic, those with fetishes, and then transvestic disorder. We're not going to be able to cover all of them in one show, so
No,
we're
it's
going to
gonna
do
be
a little bit of series. We're going to be talking about sex for a little bit of time, okay?
I
So
think
for
we need to
those-
start the new year off with it. Put that on your, what they call them boards, your future boards. Now, what are those? You put that on your vision board.
What, all the abnormal sexualities. Listen, we're going to have the DSM up in here, and we are going to, we're going to cover all of those, because
think
I
that's
was
gonna be
like,
real good.
we haven't been doing any diagnosing in a while, so
No,
we
we
do kind of
haven't.
need to get back to diagnosing. Professor, since he left in the middle of this, we might as well ask him. Professor, do you have any thoughts on these abnormal expressions of sexuality? Professor said, beat me, please. Professor's like, no, I didn't.
So do you think there's any lack of fear of the opposite
I don't think we can
sex?
hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes, sir.
So do you think that there's any uncomfortable feelings with the opposite sex, or fearful of that causes people to exhibit these tendencies?
Well, he was exposing himself to women.
That's what I'm telling you. But to the opposite sex, I said, do you think there's any uncomfortable
Like, okay,
feelings? The
if
reason
he had
why
flashed me, I would have been like,
Was he doing it because he has issues with women?
That's what I'm asking you. You're the psychiatrist.
When it comes to exhibitionists, the sexual arousal is from startling the victim. Yes.
and I'd be like,
And them screaming.
I'm like, keep it up a little bit while longer. We need to see it out.
He'd have been mad if
He would have been mad at me.
Because the D
I
would
wouldn't
have
have
like,
gave him. I wouldn't have gave it to him.
the D would have put out a magnifying glass. What you working with?
Yeah,
Bob, put your coat back on.
exactly.
And actually, we're joking, but if the victims responded more along the line of that, it would remove the power from the exhibitionist.
Take all the power.
They're gaining power from assaulting. Yes. Assaulting women by scaring the living crap out of them because they like, oh my Lord, there's a penis in my damn face. But they need to respond like the D. D, please describe to the women again how they need to respond if they come across this fool.
Open it up a little bit longer. Come here, let me look at it. Oh, now close your coat up. Go on, boy.
Why are you trying to be an exhibition?
Exactly.
But
Disappointing.
You
If you let me tell you, if you insult,
fail.
insult the exhibitionist and you really remove his power.
Oh, he might
but you
start
still
crying.
need to report it, though.
Oh yeah, it's a crime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It is a crime.
Even if he left. And
Well, guess what? We're
disappointed.
dealing with that. I have a student right now who I'm dealing with that, and they're just doing Title IXs, and we are not doing nothing to help this child. That I told everybody I'm checked out.
The kid is an exhibitionist?
Yes,
Wow.
he's a perk actually,
See.
because he's
Well, it's
high
a crime.
functioning. He's high functioning, but he does sexual things to the low functioning ones. And I was telling him that we need to move him out of general population. I'm just like, oh my God, I got to really sound like a jail now.
Gin pop.
Yeah, I'm like, we got to keep him out the gen pop because he sexually assaulted and was stalking a gen ed student.
Wow.
And she just was like, and was one of the good girls. And she
Yeah.
was just overwhelmed, crying.
That's why
and
he
everything.
targeted her.
And they did not call the police. And I was upset with them. I'm like, why you guys did not call the police? I'm not talking about the campus police. I'm talking about 911 because there should have been a police.
Full-fledged.
They better be glad that wasn't my daughter or
Right.
granddaughter.
Well, because they are not helping him.
Exactly.
It would be better for him to be held accountable under
Got
the
to be
juvenile
held
justice
accountable.
system
Yes.
than allow him to continue and end up a part of the adult
And
criminal
that's
justice
exactly
system.
what I said on Monday. We had a whole IEP meeting. It was a 3-hour IEP meeting.
Yeah, they're not helping him
They're
by covering
not
for
helping
him.
him. They're not, and I can't even change placement because no one has did their documentation.
Right.
How can I change placement? I open it up. There's nothing.
Yeah, they're covering.
They're
covering.
lazy.
And they're lazy.
It's a disservice.
yeah.
Once again, it's a disservice to our children,
Yes, and he's going to have more victims.
and he cannot get the help that he needs.
Right, right. So he has a paraphilia. We're going to cover the paraphilias on the show starting next week. This is going to be really interesting.
Are we gonna start that next week?
All
Because
right.
we're about to go on vacation.
I don't know when we're going on vacation, D. Whenever our next show is, we are covering.
But we don't want to like do it and then be on vacation for 2 weeks. You know, Christmas is on a Monday.
Oh, okay. Oh, you saying let's start after vacation?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
So we will be here next Tuesday, but we will not be here the following 2 Tuesdays.
okay. Well, come up with a topic for next Tuesday.
No, that's not my job.
Let's talk about my book, D. I can't.
Okay,
this
let's
with
do the
you.
book.
I can't do this with you. Okay, so my book, it's like this: lessons on coping, surviving, and thriving. So this is what I did. What I did is I pulled analogies that I frequently have used in therapy to send therapeutic messages. Here's the value of analogies, and I call this analogous processing. When you present a therapeutic life lesson in the form of an analogy, two things that it does. One, the client grasps it much faster because you're creating an image with the lesson. And for people who are like visual kind of learners, it really
And
helps them
audio.
to grasp it faster. And then the second thing that it accomplishes is they hold on to it longer. And so I initially would do this when we were at the center, when I was seeing mainly kids, like 80-90% of my caseload was kids. And once I started seeing adults, I quickly realized that adults respond really well to analogies as well. Like they grasp it really fast. And so this is a book of analogies, metaphors, similes, and this was really fun to write. My first book, I wrote the whole book on social media on my phone. I know, ridiculous, right? This book, I wrote most
Was
of it
this
on
the
my
one that
phone.
you lost
but-
and then you found it?
No.
Okay.
No, that is the book that I don't even know when I'm gonna release that book. That's parenting notes, because I wrote therapist notes and then I wrote parenting notes, and so yeah, that's further down the line. That might be after our book,
Okay.
because I was thinking about it, and we should go ahead and do a book D.
Let's go do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, and so
We're going
because
to put that on our vision board too.
we need to figure out when, because I have this book, and then after this book is Therapist Notes Revisited, and then JP Asked and Answered, which is a collection of when I was doing Q&A for a magazine and for a column. You remember Lisa Webb that we went to school with? She used to have a magazine. And I had a column
Did
in
she?
her magazine. Yes.
I didn't know
It was
that.
called Diesel Magazine, and I had a column in her magazine.
Whoa,
And
that
it's
was
all this-
hers?
It was all this Q&A, yes. And let me tell you, that book is adult content, because a lot of the questions that I was answering were sexual questions. So it's kind of juicy. And then I was thinking, after these 3 books, before parenting notes, maybe we could kick out a book. But D, here's the thing. I'm not doing all the work. If you're not going to help, we not doing it.
Are you doing all this in front of company? Are we having this conversation in front of company? Now, you know, mama taught. Stuff
Not
in the
that
house
stuff in front of
stay in our 4 walls,
Not act
okay?
up in front of company. Okay, D.
Goodness.
Okay. Here's what it's going to require. The transcripts from our shows have to be basically printed off, reviewed, edited, in order for it to be put into book form. It's all the juiciest stuff.
We done had some good ones, boy.
We done had some good ones.
Ooh-wee.
All right, so yes, we have, and we about to cover all them abnormal, out of the ordinary sexual desire diagnoses. That's gonna be juicy. All right, so in this book, that's what this book basically is all of these analogies, and then at the end of the book, what I have hidden at the end of the book is bonus.
And I'm also in the book, you guys, in the beginning.
Of course. D.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You want to read it?
No.
Read what I said about the D.
What you said about the D?
And so at the end of the book, hidden at the end, you know how on CDs they'll have like those bonus tracks hidden at the end.
He got a
Listen,
bonus track.
I hid some bonus tracks at the end from my forthcoming book, which is JP Asked and Answered. All right, so
Am I too old to adopt children? Hell yeah.
all right, so I want to read an excerpt from the book, and I think I found one that I thought you might.
Oh
like.
wow, here go a good one. The end the hoo-hoo. Hey JP, what do you say to a person that does not know what they want to do with their life? I'm referring to myself. I have a lot of dreams that I want to fulfill, but at times I find myself with a great idea, but then I just lose interest. Wow, that's big.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
a lot of people.
So
Sorry.
let me
Go ahead
see.
on, JP. What you
I
doing? I'm
found
sorry.
something in here that pertained to relationships, but I
Oh
can't.
Lord,
But I
have
can't
mercy.
find it. But I can't.
Yes,
find
you
it.
do. It's you got them little post-it notes on there.
I got my post-it notes, but I found something that I thought that you
Tell me
might
what page you're
particularly
on.
like. But I'm gonna read this one. This is on page 59,
Oh, I haven't got that far.
and so this is how the analogies work.
The circuit breaker.
This is the circuit breaker. I used to have a bad habit of running too many electrical appliances in the house at the same time. The house would get pissed and shut everything off. It would flip the circuit. So I'd have to choose what to turn off and then go down into the basement and flip the breaker switch to get the electricity flowing to the appliances again. Well, many people overload their circuit breaker by taking on way too much crap at the same time. Or they allow too much stuff to pile up in their lives and then experience a shutdown, meltdown, intense anxiety, panic attacks, medical problems, or even dissociation. Their brain has flipped the breaker and shut down the system because they overloaded it. The solution is to make a list of everything going on in your life and then prioritize those things. Eliminate the things that don't truly matter or that you don't have the power to influence, change, fix, or eliminate. You're just stressing over them despite the fact that they are what they are. For the things left on the list that you can actually do something about, start with the biggest, most urgent one and work on it. Then move on to the next, and so on. Stay in tune with how you're feeling as you go through this process because you have to monitor the circuit breaker. Monitor the circuit breaker in order to be aware of when it's time to take a break and better pace yourself in order to avoid overloading the system again.
That's good, JP.
The circuit
That's
breaker.
good. The circuit breaker.
Yeah. And so you see how that analogy, because it's the kind of analogy that as you are reading it or as you're listening to it, I think most people have overloaded the circuit breaker in their house at some point.
Especially if you got an old house. You got you got ones you have to twist in.
Nah, we had them replaced. No, those were like they were like light bulbs.
Yes.
No, but the regular circuit breaker, if you got too much going on in the house, it will.
Mine never
used
have
to
done that
flip it.
before.
Well, my previous house, it would. And it'd be like, oh, man, we got too much crap on because we'd have everything on. And I have to go down there and figure out what to turn off and flip it back. And so mentally, the analogy is in life, we sometimes take on too much and it flips our circuits. It overloads our
Oh,
system.
JP, this is a good picture, too. This is a old picture, too.
Hold on.
Mr. Walker, this is an old picture while you
Hold
want
on.
to talk and put all our business out in the street.
Ain't no wrinkles on this face of mine. Don't play with me, D.
When was this picture taken?
I don't know. But ain't no wrinkles on my face.
No, you just look younger.
D, I think I look young all the time. It's under these bad lighting in the studio that has me looking bad and gray half the time.
Yeah, JP the white boy.
Basically.
My camera is fine.
Your camera is always fine.
Because I'm fine.
Mr. Walker set us up like that.
Okay, come on, let's do your other insert because you know we looking at time.
Okay. I'm trying to find the one that had to do with relationships since we were
entire
not
portrait.
doing
Mindless puppy.
since we were
Baggage?
not doing the whole, the dating thing with the dean. All right. So let me read another one.
What page?
This is page 61.
Oh, I was right there. Don't toss out the entire. That caught my eye.
Don't toss out the entire portrait. Sometimes people get so down on themselves, riddled with feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness, that they become suicidal. To those people, I explain to them that although it is true that they are the artists creating the portrait that is their life, when we see some blemish or mistake in that portrait, we don't throw the whole thing out the window. A mistake in the upper right-hand corner should not result in throwing out an entire portrait. You just focus on that blemish or mistake and fix it by painting over it with new colors and features. We have the rest of our lives to work on the masterpiece that is us. It doesn't have to be perfect and will never be, but we can fix that which is in our power to do so. And for the rest, we remind ourselves that those blemishes don't make up the whole of who we are. There is still much beauty to behold, so focus on that. We change those things that we can change and learn to cope with those things that we can't change or eliminate.
That was good.
Don't toss out the entire portrait. And this is an analogy that I have used with clients who, when life starts lifing and it gets extremely difficult, and they drop down into a feeling of hopelessness, which is one of the symptoms of depression that is very alarming, because once a person drops down into hopelessness, what comes next is suicidality. And so helping people to realize that, you know, when it comes to life's difficulties, you have to be careful that you don't look at life through like what's tunnel vision, because if you imagine, the analogy is that we are artists and we're painting the portrait that is our life. If you are looking at it through a tunnel, all you're going to see is the current blemish or mistake in that portrait. So we have to remove the tunnel and look at the whole portrait that is our lives, and see that there's more to it than this blemish, this thing that is going so wrong. But if that's all you see, it is easy to succumb to suicidal thoughts, because you find yourself feeling hopeless and feeling like my whole life is ruined. And so what we have to teach people, and this is probably something you're going to be encountering a lot in the school, because young people are very vulnerable to this.
Every day.
They are quick to think
The boyfriend,
that their whole life is
the boyfriend that broke up with him.
and they think their whole lives are ruined because, oh my God, I'm in love with this person and they don't want me anymore, and I can't imagine living my life without this person.
You know what I tell them? Can you talk to me and my boyfriend? I'm like, I don't do couples therapy to kids.
Couples therapy.
And they look at me like,
But they are intense about their relationships.
yeah, I don't do couple therapy with kids.
Well, and what they need is individual to help them to see that, hey, this is one tiny aspect of your life. You are 15, 16 years old.
Exactly.
You could live to be 80 something years old. You ain't even going to remember this fool in about 10 or 15 years.
No, how about 6 months?
So, yeah, because they move on quickly. But, and you're right, with my young clients, they move on so quickly. And so sometimes what I will do is say, hey, remember a few months ago you thought you didn't have anything to live for when you and Junebug broke up? And they like,
Huh?
forget that fool. Uh-huh. Yes, forget that fool. And clearly you have. But at the time you wanted to end your life because you thought you couldn't. You thought there was no life.
I can't go on.
I can't go on. There's no life after that. And so addressing that with them is to remind them that life happens. Unfortunate things happen, but you can't throw away your entire life because of something that has happened.
Thing.
You can't throw out the whole portrait. That you got 90 something years to paint this portrait, but you're going to throw the whole thing out because your relationship ended. And so this is something that not
is
only
this relationship
affects kids.
64 and 65? Is this who you? Is this
Page 64 and
65? Yeah.
Okay, so page 64 is, it's not about the needle, it's about the haystack.
And look at 65.
And 65 is hell considered an upgrade.
Upgrade.
Right. And we don't even have enough time to read those. But
Didn't we start late?
let me quickly say, the needle in the haystack, the analogy, Mr. Walker, how much time do we have?
Another 5 minutes.
Okay, let me read that one, because that does kind of apply to Dating Chronicles.
The Dating Chronicles.
The
That you started me on the Dating Chronicles, dog,
And
last year.
And we're going to do that speed dating event also. Okay, so here's what's on page 64. It's not about the needle, it's about the haystack. I oftentimes hear people say that finding a great person to date and build a relationship with is like finding a needle in a haystack. But really, that depends on the haystack that you're dealing with. If the haystack is bad, then of course there's going to be a lack of good needles in it. The solution is to choose better haystacks that are likely to have more needles, many more needles, which means stop trying to find Mr. or Miss Right in all of the wrong places. You got to be careful about your haystacks. Now, D, you actually are pretty creative about meeting men because you meet men at
Everywhere.
like Quick Trip, like
Walmart gas stations. I met my grass man from Walmart gas station. That's just because I think people sit in my face. It's like, oh, she looks so friendly, and they just start talking.
I've always thought it was interesting because I see so many clients who say, I don't know where to meet anybody. I don't know where to meet anybody. And so this analogy about the haystacks is a part of the process of me asking them, well, where are you trying to meet people? Because a lot of times they like at the club. And they all up in some hole in the wall wondering why they ended up.
690222.
You just insulted all the 6902 people.
It's not called that anymore, though.
Let me tell you, the 6902 people,
We used to be jumping out. We used to be up in there jumping out.
The last thing they're doing is listening to talk radio.
Exactly. but we used to have some fun up in there with Tiffany.
See, I don't think I've ever been there. Tiff used to go there?
Yeah, Tiffany dragged me up in there. We was kicking it, though.
You shouldn't have probably been up in there.
We was kicking.
Did you get good needles from there?
No, I didn't get
'Cause
no
that's
needles. I
not a
left
good
all the
haystack.
needles there.
That is not a good
But remember,
haystack.
we was in our 30s. I left all the needles there. They was, well, we trying to get out of there. They like, hey,
Right.
Me, Tiffany, and then guy.
6902.
We good.
Let me tell you, I learned this lesson myself as a young person because I had a couple of bad experiences from meeting women at Body Works.
That used to another one of our kicking spots.
Some street chicks up in there. Okay. And
And he used to be with us.
dating them.
They didn't even care about
some
him being with
situations.
other women. They still roll
They
up.
didn't care. They didn't care. But
White boy Nick.
That was our boy. I had to come to the conclusion, basically, like, this is not a good haystack. I am not going to find needles up in here. Because bad things were happening from meeting women up in there. And so in talking to
That's where Inga found her husband.
Are you serious? They
I was-
met at that club?
I was with her. Yeah. And I was like,
Y'all shouldn't have went that night.
Sure should. We went to 6902.
That was a bad night to go. We done said the names and everything. We probably need to
She don't
wrap
go
up
by
the
that name anymore.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. It's okay. D, we gotta wrap this up. We put too much business out in these streets. But yeah, that's that analogy. Be careful about your haystacks unless you are lucky like the D, who the D meets men everywhere.
Everywhere.
But for those of you who are not able to meet men everywhere, be conscious of where you are spending your time if you are looking for a man that is going to be a good fit with you. Okay? Don't be hanging out in places full of folks who you ain't got no business dating, and then you trying to date the fools and it blows up in your face. Right. All right, that's our show for today.
Whoa. You got to tell everybody where they can come and get this at, JP.
Oh, the book is on Amazon. You can order from Amazon. You can go to major bookstores and they can order, but it'll be faster to just go directly to Amazon than to go to Barnes and Noble, which, you know, they have to order copies and all that whole thing. It's like this. Lessons
And that's the way it is.
Lessons on coping, surviving, and thriving. Thank you all for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything.
You almost forgot. Don't upset the Lord. We not going to upset the
I'm on
Lord.
my way to the club.
She is on her way to the club, y'all. We're gonna say a prayer for the D because she's heading out on a date, which means we're gonna get a juicy story next week, probably. D, enjoy yourself tonight on the
I
date.
am. Give me
Okay.
2 tacos. I'll be home before 9.
Tell him if he don't come correct, we will be talking about him on the show.
Oh,
next
yes. Oh,
All right.
yes.
Thank you all for joining us. Good night.
Bye-bye now.